open public meeting as required by the Planning Act. This meeting will be live streamed to the city's YouTube channel, and a recording of the meeting will also be posted on the city's website following the meeting. An agenda can be found on the agendas, meetings, and minutes page on the city's website. This meeting is for information and discussion purposes only, and no decision will be made at this evening's meeting. Council will make a decision on these matters at the regular council meeting to be held on Thursday at 7 p.m. If you wish to address council at that meeting, you must submit a delegation form to the city no later than 12 noon. This will be funny, 12 noon, I guess, tomorrow. A delegation form is available on the city website. Tomorrow is fine? Okay. Normally, we have planning meetings, of course, on Monday night, so the deadline would be an earlier time. If an application is denied, only the applicant or the minister may file an appeal with the Ontario Tribunal within 20 days of issuance of the notice of council's decision. Only specified persons, public bodies, registered owners of land to which the plan may apply, the requester to amend the plan, and the minister may apply or may appeal the decision to the city of Woodstock to the Land Tribunal within 20 days of issuance of the notice of the council decision. Excluding the minister, any party wishing to make an appeal must make written or oral submissions to council at a public meeting. Please note that third parties, anyone who is not specified person or public body, do not have the right to appeal a decision for an official plan amendment to the Ontario Land Tribunal. Please keep your comments to planning matters only and avoid repeating comments that have already been expressed. If you have not provided oral or written comments but wish to have formal notice of council's decision on the matter, please contact the city's clerk department. The notice will provide further information on appealing the decision. The planner will be asked to present the planning report. There are 2 reports on tonight's agenda for each of the application. The applicant will then be provided an opportunity to make comments as well, followed by those wishing to speak in favor of the application, and then those followed to speak against or in opposition of the application. Prior to proceeding with the first application, does anyone here have to declare a pecuniary interest on either of the 2 items on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, we will begin therefore with item number 1 on the agenda. It's application for consent and minor variance, B25-43-8 and A25-10-8. Oxford Builders, Inc. is the applicant, and the planner, Mr. Miller, will come up and talk to us about it, but it's on Bower Hill or Carn Road.
Good evening, council, staff, members of the public. As the chairperson said, B25-43-8, A25-10-8 in the name of Oxford Builders, Inc. The subject lands are described as Part Lot 4 on the north side of Bower Street, Plan 86, Parts 3 and 5, Registered Plan 41R 5652 in the city of Woodstock. The lands are located on the northwest side of Bower Hill Road, lying between Gillespie Street and Mill Street, and are municipally known as 229 Bower Hill Road. The subject lands are designated low-density residential in the county's official plan and are zoned R1 in the city's zoning bylaw. The purpose of the subject applications is to sever a lot for the creation of 1 new lot for residential purposes and retain a lot containing an existing single detached dwelling. Due to a significant grade change on the subject lands, as part of a complete application, staff have requested and reviewed a preliminary grading plan to ensure that the proposed severed lands are suitable for further residential development. With respect to the PPS, the proposal is consistent with the intensification, redevelopment, and housing policies, as the application is considered an efficient use of land and municipal infrastructure within a service settlement area and will provide additional housing units to current and future residents. This proposal shares similarities to backyard infill proposals. However, in this case, the backyard lot to be created contains the existing dwelling and is not the vacant lot proposed to be created. The backyard infill evaluation policies that are different than the street-oriented infill policies focus primarily on impacts to privacy and access. Privacy will not be impacted because the existing dwelling is effectively the backyard dwelling. The proposed access to the retained backyard lot is a 7.25, has a 7.25 meter frontage and satisfies the city's access concerns for access to backyard infills. So throughout my history at the city and longer than that, the city has generally accepted 6 meters as a minimum frontage for rear yard infill proposals. In consideration of the requested minor variance to lot frontage, staff have reviewed the proposal in the context of the policies contained in the official plan and are of the opinion that the proposed variances are appropriate as they provide adequately sized lots and provide sufficient setbacks for neighboring properties and space for off-street parking to the existing dwelling. The minimum front yard provision of the R1 zone is 12 meters. The proposed 7.25 meters frontage for the retained lots is appropriate as it will recognize the width of the existing driveway access and the lot width increases to provide sufficient space for a suitable dwelling envelope. Further, the proposed frontage of the lands to be severed is 10 meters and exceeds the minimum zone provisions in the R2 zone, which are 9 meters, which also permit single detached dwellings. So within the city R1 and R2 zones, both permit single detached dwellings. The R2 zone also permits semi-detached dwellings and duplexes. The difference is in the frontage. So the R1 zone currently permits a minimum frontage of 12 meters, and the R2 zone permits a minimum frontage of 9 meters for single detached dwellings. The existing lot fabric in the vicinity is characterized by varying lot frontages, depths, and areas, and the proposed lot to be severed and retained will not be out of place with the characteristics of the surrounding area. Staff are satisfied that the reduced lot frontages are minor and desirable for the development of subject lands and maintains the intended purpose of the zoning bylaw with respect to the provision of adequately sized building envelopes and sufficient setbacks. Planning staff are of the opinion that the proposed severance is an appropriate example of street-oriented infill and intensification, and the requested minor variance meets the test of a minor variance under the Planning Act and can be supported. Therefore, staff recommended that that Woodstock Council advise Land Division Committee that city supports the application for severance and the application for minor variance.
Any comments or questions from members of council? Go ahead, Mayor Accioni.
Thank you. Through the chair to Mr. Miller. We're seeing lots and lots of these now, of course, here in the city. The house beside it, looking at the image that's there, is the house going to be approximately the same location? For the sake of driving down the road, like, is it gonna look a lot closer to the road?
No, will generally look about the same distance. Those houses, to me, without having measured, look like they're about the minimum front yard setback. The city also has established building line setbacks, which means that houses, unless they apply for a variance, have to be within the setbacks of the dwellings within 2 on either side of it, I believe it is.
Driving by that location earlier today, it does look like the house beside it is a lot closer to the street versus a lot of others, and you can see that in that image, so. Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Councilor Lauder.
Thank you. Through the chair to Mr. Miller, is there going to be sufficient parking there? Say if they happen to have in the future an ARU or it just that I'm thinking of them anyone having to park on Bower Hill Road because that's a very, very busy and will be much more busier as the development goes on. So just wondered on that.
So through the chair, they haven't requested any variances to things like lot area and things like that. So saying that, the vacant lot to be created in particular has the frontage of an R2 lot, actually exceeds the minimum lot area where we've seen people be able to provide adequate parking, things like that. The existing dwelling has a whole bunch of space back there, so I wouldn't assume that parking would be an issue either.
I was more concerned with the new, that I know the other one would be okay. So, okay, thank you.
Anyone else from council? Maybe just a question of curiosity more than anything else. The house that's set back further, that's a part of this plan, is it currently owner occupied?
Through the chair, I don't know. The application is made by Oxford Builders, so I would assume they own it. I don't believe that's where they live.
Thanks, Lawton. Any more questions for Mr. Miller? Would the applicant want to speak on this matter, Mr. Geerlings or his agent?
Just on your concerns about the setbacks, we are actually set back further than the one on the right. You have to take a line basically through between the two homes. So the setback is no issue. Plus it'll have a garage for extra parking. What was the other concern? I don't think there was anything else, but. Oh, area, yeah, we are not proposing ARU there at all, so, not at this point anyway, I don't know if somebody buys it. And then if the question was who's living there, my son is actually living in the existing. Okay,
Any further questions or comments for Mr. Geerlings?
thank you.
Next, then, anybody would like to speak in favor of this project, if they could please come forward and give us their name and address, where they reside, if they're speaking in favor of the proposal. Seeing none, anybody wants to speak against the proposal, if they'd like to come forward to the microphone and give us your name and address and make any comments you might have or ask any questions. And again, give us your name and address when you come up to the microphone.
Hi, thanks so much for letting us speak. I'm Tammy Jorna and I'm at 242 Bower Hill Road, so I'm just down the hill a little bit closer to the intersection. So we've had communication within our Bower Hill group with regards to concerns on doing the severing of this property. A few of the concerns are that there's already a very large expansion occurring up the road, which means that this could potentially increase more traffic on top of that traffic. We already see significant, based on the fact that perhaps what might be occurring is once it's severed in the back in the future, there was reference on the city document that said R2. I don't know if that was a clerical error or not, but our concern would be that potentially they'll infill with outside of the R1, um, outside of the R1, I guess I should just say. So our concern is that not only that, but the neighbors beside didn't realize that they could speak up, and they're concerned that if a home goes in there, it's already close, like right now with that frontage and everything, you're going to create an extremely small area to build another home if somebody purchases it or not. And they're concerned, where is the snow going to go with the increase in snow that we've seen, especially since they're taking and allowing for the frontage to be included with the existing driveway that's going to be used by the other home in the back. So there's that concern. And unfortunately, I don't know enough about engineering or anything like that. But it's just the concerns of the community that we've seen significant infill years ago on Bower Hill. And to see this start occurring, we're just concerned that we're going to start seeing the R1 losing its prestige, I guess would be the word, and those concerns. Okay.
Since you kind of asked the question in there about zoning, Mr. Miller can answer the question about what the zoning is for the proposed new house and then the existing house that's further back where the zonings are on those two properties.
Is there a plan to do anything in there? Would you know? Thank
So-
you.
Through the chair, so the zoning is R1. I did say R2 in the report, and that just as a comparison to minimum frontage requirements.
Okay.
Just to say that the R2 zone also permits single attached dwellings, just the frontage is much smaller. Just to make the comparison, that we do allow single attached dwellings with this frontage, and it works out throughout the city.
Right, okay. And that's, I guess, the last thing that I would say too, is how significant that frontage is from being a minor variance. It's more so a major variance. And we went with this when we first moved into our home in 2012. The home beside us, it was purchased by a realtor and he wanted to sever it and he wanted to build additional homes in the back and the frontage for his was not even as significant as what's being requested here. And when it got to county, county declined it because it was a major variance, not just a minor variance. So these are just concerns that we have, obviously from the community, and we'll hope you take them under consideration. I don't know if there's anything else I can put forward.
Anybody have any questions for the delegation? I was just looking at the map to see which house was 242, because
Yeah.
some of those houses actually are back onto the property that is actually the Church of the Nazarene on Mill Street too.
Right.
So I was trying to just look at, that's what I was trying to do,
This
is
was actually
place it in my
on
mind
Bruce's,
where your
the
house was.
farmhouse, and those were all the original property, and they severed our property originally to give those properties along Mill Street. So anyways, that's where we are.
Anyone else would like to come forward and speak against or in opposition of this
you.
proposal? Seeing none, we will move forward. Again, there's no decision to be made on this application tonight, B 25-43-8, A 25-10-8, as the city council meeting will vote on this on Thursday. City council meetings at 7 PM on Thursday night. The second item on tonight's agenda is ZN 8-25-11, Ernst and Young, Inc., care of Fiona Han. And Mr. Miller can come up and do the presentation on that, which is the subdivision commonly known as the neighborhoods of Devonshire.
ZN 8-25-11, Ernst and Young, Inc., care of Fiona Han. The subject lands are described as lots 14 and 15, concession 1, formerly Blandford. The lands are located on the south side of Devonshire Avenue between Lansdowne Avenue and Royal Way in the city of Woodstock. The subject lands are designated low-density residential in the county's official plan, are currently zoned R215 and R314 in the city's zoning bylaw, and are proposed to be rezoned to R245 and R368. The applicant is proposing to rezone the subject lands to facilitate the development of single attached dwellings with modified zone provisions within an existing plan of subdivision. Although the requested special zone provisions R245 and R368 permit development types other than single attached dwellings, this application is intended to modify only those provisions for single attached dwellings. The application for zone change is intended to apply across the unregistered lands of a plan of subdivision, file number 32T08003, and seeks to rezone the subject lands from R215 and R314 to R245 and R368 to add new special provisions to the current special provision zones for single detached dwellings. Existing lots within the plan of subdivisions that have been sold to new owners will not be rezoned and will retain the R215 and R314 zones. For single attached dwellings, this application proposes a minimum interior side yard width of 1.2 meters for one side and 0.6 meters for the other side, a maximum lot coverage for the main dwelling of 44%, and a maximum driveway area of 57%. In the existing R2 and 15 and R314 zones, side yard depths and lot coverage fall within the R2 zone provisions and permit a maximum lot coverage of 41% and a minimum side yard width for dwellings with attached garage of 1.2 meters. Maximum driveway areas are contained within the general provisions and currently limit private driveways to a maximum of 50% of an front yard or exterior side yard. And in the case of dwellings containing an ARU, the maximum driveway area is 65%. Maximum driveway area provisions are intended to ensure that sufficient space is available for on-street parking, that drainage is not negatively impacted, and that existing streetscapes are not negatively impacted. The applicants have requested that this special provision apply to only lots with 10 meters or more frontage to accommodate to accommodate proposed double car garages. The proposed maximum area of 57% for lots with 10 meters or more of frontage is a minor departure from the existing zone provision, is still below the maximum area permitted for dwellings with ARUs, and the city's engineering staff have indicated that they've reviewed concerns associated with drainage and have no concerns. Lot coverage provisions are intended to ensure that sufficient space is provided on-site for grading and drainage, setbacks, and amenity spaces. The proposed increase from 41% to 44% is a minor departure from the current zone standard. Further, the existing maximum lot coverage for main buildings and accessory buildings is 47% and is and has a higher coverage, and the higher coverage percentage has not been proposed to be increased. In support of the proposed lot coverage increase, the applicant has provided revised storm sewer design sheets and stormwater management calculations that have been reviewed and accepted by city engineering staff. Minimum side yard provisions are intended to ensure that sufficient space is provided for grading and drainage, fire safety and access, and maintenance of the dwelling. The proposed minimum side yard widths of 0.6 meters on one side and 1.2 meters on the other side have been implemented in a few new subdivisions within the city. Through previous review and implementation of these proposed setbacks, city and county staff are satisfied that no negative impacts associated with grading, drainage, and fire safety or access are anticipated. Planning staff are satisfied the proposal is consistent with the policies of the PPS and meets the general intent and purpose of the official plan. As such, staff are of the opinion that that the application be given favorable consideration, and staff recommend approval of the application.
I guess maybe I'm gonna start only with a sort of a clarification point. The entire area of subdivision that has red, and obviously there's no residential homes there right now whatsoever. But are there any approved plans of subdivision in any of that red area, or is it all, they have to come back to council with plans of subdivision as they want to go from point A to point B to point C within that acreage?
So the entirety of the subdivision is draft approved, so it doesn't need to come back to council for anything. What they are approving now are different phases of the subdivision, so a few phases, so where you can see that little upside down L shape sticking into it is an approved phase, for instance, so of the greater subdivision area, so they're just doing phases at a time. These are the unsold lands that they have not, that have received draft approval, but have not been registered, and the lots haven't been formally created yet.
Any questions for the planner, for Mr. Miller? Seeing none, is there anybody, oh no, we just started with the council. And then we asked the applicant if they would like to come forward and give us any additional information beyond what the planner has already said. Would the applicant like to come up and either reinforce anything or add more information to what's already been said? Go ahead. And give us your name and address again.
Thank you, Chair and members of the council. My name is Emily Elliott, and I am with MHBC Planning, and we're here on behalf of the owners in support of the application tonight. And just thanks to Mr. Miller for his thorough presentation and staff report. We've reviewed the staff report and support the recommendations to approve the zoning bylaw. I think the presentation this evening covered everything quite well. And just to reiterate that this application applies to the unregistered portions of an existing draft approved plan of subdivision. The zoning will not impact any of the lots that are already sold, and it simply seeks to modify the regulations for single detached dwellings on the draft approved but not yet registered portions of the subdivision. And I'm happy to answer any other questions of council at this time.
Are there any further questions for our applicant or their agent? Seeing none. Thanks a lot. Maybe
you.
stay handy in case somebody that has a question from the neighborhood, assuming that's why we have a few extra people here in the crowd tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much.
Next up, anybody who would like to also speak in favor of the application? Can you come forward and give us your name and address and your comments to speak in favor of the application? Those that like to maybe possibly speak in opposition of the application, if they would like to come forward. Oh, yeah, just come forward to the microphone. We'll take your name and your address, and then we'll certainly be able to answer your question.
Linda McCready, I'm at 151 John Davies Drive. And I'm wondering, is that Spruce Dale going on a curve there, right behind those properties? That's Spruce Dale, and it shows the road going, curving around there.
Maybe Mr. Miller can explain what that yellow line is all about.
Okay, this road, is this Spruce Dale right here?
Yep.
Is this Spruce Dale coming here?
No, that's the actual, so where we're talking about is the division between the R215 and the R314 lines, so this is just the zone line.
Oh, that's a zone line,
Yeah.
that, it looks like it's a street
Yeah.
going
yeah,
through there.
Yeah.
So is the street still going straight through
That's
there?
right, yes.
And is there gonna be a roundabout here?
The last plans I saw didn't show.
And is there,
A better image. See Spruce Dale. Continuing.
okay, and is there still gonna be, this was supposed to be, a swale here with drainage? Do you know if that's still there? Originally?
There.
Yeah. On the original plan way back when, which we have at home, there was supposed to be a swale here with drainage there? All the way along there?
That I don't.
So through the chair, the question is whether there would be a swale along the back of the R215 lots. I'm not familiar enough with that level of the engineering design. I suspect there won't be. I'm assuming that they control all stormwater and effort. 100%.
So who would know that?
Some of the city's engineering permit,
Okay.
Nico DeMille or August.
So when would, how would we find that out? Cause it's very wet back in there?
Yeah, you could ask them specifically whether there is, it's the subdivision, those portions of the subdivision haven't been registered, so, final design details not getting updated.
Oh, okay, so, all right. Thank you.
Did you have something to offer from MHBC on that?
I can help clarify a little bit. Through the registration of this phase of the plan, the details associated with grading and drainage will be determined, as well as the final road network in terms of whether there'll be a roundabout there or what intersection control there will be, and whether drainage will be dealt with through the extension of one of the local streets in the subdivision. So those are details that will come through the registration of the phases in the subdivision approval process.
Anybody else that want to come forward and speak, I guess in opposition, or just have some comments or questions they'd like to make?
My name is Suzanne Garrell and I live at 159 John Davies Drive, and I happen to be represented here by 5 houses in a row that all back on to the vacant land right now, where it shows on the map, a yellow line right behind our houses, where Spruce Dale was originally supposed to be going straight through. And if you look at the other end, it already is called Spruce Dale. So it's Spruce Dale at one end and it's Spruce Dale at the other. But this map that we were only given on September 3rd, which was updated online at the city of Woodstock in February of 2025, but we were not made aware of until a month ago, does clearly show a yellow line, which if you look at the legend, it says road. So this yellow line right behind our houses is not going to be a road?
So I'll show you this, shows you Spruce Dale,
Right,
the way it continues on
and this is Spruce
and
Dale,
connects. Yep.
correct. And this line here,
That's another road here.
Right.
Row of houses
well, that's where we live,
along here.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where we live right now,
Yeah,
and this is
so-
going to be a road.
No, that's just a separate section.
If I remember.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so they're just different plans, different,
okay, so these are going to be houses
correct,
backing onto our houses.
correct.
And this is not gonna be a road?
No, there is gonna be a road in front of them.
There would have to be a road there.
Yes,
Yes,
course.
okay. And
Yeah.
where, as citizens, do we find this Schedule A? Where can we find it?
For town,
Oxford County.
for full-
Okay, so that, this map that we were given a month ago is correct, and that is going to be a road.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, it's just not showed as that, that's just a section.
well,
That's not
well, the
road
legend.
itself.
Well,
Okay, you're gonna see,
right, that's the same thing we're seeing, we just
Similar.
don't see the houses.
yeah, it's similar,
Right,
fair enough.
so are we going to be updated as development and rezoning is going on? Is there any way that we will be kept apprised of what's happening behind our houses?
What's the best answer to that, Mr. Miller?
Typically not. All of the permissions associated with the development have been made by council, so the draft approval, things like that have already been made by council. These are sort of the design phase things that are approved at a staff level, with the exception of, in this case, they're asking for different provisions for single detached dwellings, but all of the other approvals have already been given.
Okay, so thank you very much. Is there a timeline?
I don't have a timeline, but I
Okay. I would love to do that. Thank you. Thank you very much, council.
Yeah, make sure you pass your email address as well on to Mr. Bunn here, our clerk's office. But just to confirm, Sprucedale does connect to Sprucedale, it just hasn't yet. Anybody else want to speak in opposition or give us more questions?
Sorry, Sherry DeVries, 147 John Davies. You were saying that this is a minor variance. We're going from 40% is the norm to 44%. So I guess my question is why are we doing that? And how many extra plots will we have if they go ahead with this way? Because my concern is drainage, right? So it's great that you guys have sort of approved the site plans for that, but has it all been approved with how it's going to affect the current owners? Because we don't have huge backyards, so, and we're pretty low lying there, and these lands are already low lying, is my impression that I've been told from the neighbors, because we haven't been there that long. So again, the more homes that you put in there, the more runoff that you're gonna have, right? So if you're looking for a minor variance for 4%, is it gonna give you that much? Like, is it gonna be significant enough to even bother? Or is it just gonna create more of a headache for the rest of us? Do you follow what I'm saying?
I'm not sure the plan of subdivision includes more houses. It's just, in theory, maybe is larger houses because there's more of a lot coverage for the possibility, for example, of two-car garages.
Okay.
More lot coverage, not more
Okay, okay.
houses.
I guess, yeah, that kind of answers my question, actually. Is it more homes or just larger? Okay.
Yeah, so the setback was normally is 1.2 meters on both sides of the house. They're asking for 0.6 meters on one side of the house. And that almost makes up your 4% right there by going wider on one side of the lot.
Okay,
Maybe Mr. Wallace can confirm that.
that's okay.
Mr. Chairman, no, you've answered the question.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Anyone else with any questions in opposition or just have something you'd like to get answered? Come forward, sir, your name and address.
My name is Shubham and address is 1885 Dunkirk Avenue. I just have one question and that in this whole red area, does the developer has any plan to like build some park or something, no?
Besides Jack Dunn Park, is there more green space on this property? I'm assuming that's your question, because Jack Dunn Park is quite a large park with
The-
soccer pitch and
the
whatnot on
one-
Sprucedale. On
Yeah,
Sprucedale, the end of Sprucedale.
yeah,
with the
that's
Soccer pitch and the
uh,
playground equipment.
Just outside of the red line to the south, block 61, on Schedule A, is a park block.
okay.
So this right here, and then this is part of it. So all of this, and this is the stormwater management
Okay, that's
pond in the green area. So it's, I think it's showing up as OS2 on the schedule on the screen.
okay. So
Yeah. There, right there.
okay, so this green
Yeah.
green thing is right.
Park stormwater management,
Okay,
Yeah.
park and this is all houses, right?
correct.
This is the greenest park and that's stormwater.
No. Other way around.
Other way around,
Stormwater
okay.
park.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Always good to get clarification like that. Go ahead, Mayor Accioni.
Yeah, thank you through the chair. I also want to clarify and confirm Les Cook Park itself is not changing. That's got nothing to do with these plans for those watching, just to confirm. Thank you.
Anyone else have anybody to speak? As I said before, there's nothing that's going to be decided at tonight's meeting. The city council meeting is Thursday at 7 PM. But if you'd like to be a delegation at that meeting, you can still certainly sign up by noon tomorrow to be a delegation at Thursday night's city council meeting and have your name actually physically added to the agenda as a delegation. Seeing no other hands waving in the air, we'll ask for an adjournment for tonight's meeting. Motion by Councillor Martin, seconded by Councillor Leatherbarrow. All those in favor? And passed. Thanks for attending. Nice to see this number of people come out from the public to ask questions or have concerns.